Hello, folks. My name's David Edgar. I'm the host of the Heart and Hand pod, and I'm bringing you our usual immediate post-game thoughts after the 1-1 draw with Kilmarnock at Ibrox tonight. Well, wow is probably the only word that seems appropriate. Where do you start with that one? I'm sitting thinking when the penalty is awarded, Candace goes up, puts us away, and then it's a fairly dull video because it was a fairly dull game. And I was actually thinking, well, it's not a game that people are going to be talking about in the future. How wrong was I? Everything goes nuts. First of all, Kirk Broadfoot is a disgrace. Playground antics, going up, stamping on a guy's feet and then throwing himself to the deck. Embarrassing. If that's what happens when somebody lightly brushes your forehead, Kirk, did the fucking fried egg send you, or the poached egg send you the other side of the room? Cunt. But Ryan Jack needs to know better. 3 red cards by the end of October. Come on, son. That's... You wouldn't accept that in a school team, and I really don't want to call a Rangers player's name, but there's a thing in there. You have to use it. If you walk away from that, Candace takes a penalty, and even if he misses, the chaos that ensued, it doesn't happen. You cost us big time there. You were unlucky previously, but that one, you've got to just walk away, laugh at him, and just walk away. That's all that you need to do. As for the rest of it, God, there's so many things. There's so many things to talk about, I suppose. It was a decent-ish first half. It was a team bereft of confidence. You could see that. And they made the odd good opportunity, gave away a good opportunity as well. But the boy there was a pass back, basically. I was dreading the post-first half slump. But I thought that after we got the goal, and Jason Holt deserves credit because I thought for 70 minutes he was very, very good, and it was a terrific finish. And I'm sitting thinking, right, so many times this season you've built a platform, but instead of it then being something that you use to go on and turn in a complete performance from, you fall off it, and they didn't. For the first 20 minutes of the second half, I thought that Rangers played well, looked like getting a second goal. And then I have to say it, the crazy substitutions. Pedro often gets substitutions wrong, unfortunately, and I've tried to defend it, but I can't. Tonight it was as clear as day. If you wanted to stick a point in the match when it turned, it was the 65th minute. And, I criticised Windass at the weekend, but taking him off from the man didn't work at all, and for some reason Rangers completely lost their focus, their shape, their discipline. Kilmarnock came back into it and deserved to get a goal. They were very unlucky with 2 efforts in particular where Wes has made top class saves and he's a very good goalkeeper. And then at the end we were hanging on a bit, we really were, but we got the penalty. It should have been a get out of jail card. We should have put it away. Candace is a guy whose finishing can be interesting, shall we say. I mean, he can be an inconsistent finisher, so I was a wee bit surprised to see him go up and hit it. And as I say, then madness. Kilmarnock come up, they score a goal. It almost seemed inevitable, but it's banter year-esque to do that, to miss a penalty, get a penalty, have a man sent off, miss a penalty, and concede a goal in the last minute. It's like something Ali would have come up with. So the question now comes to Pedro, and it's the fine margins thing again. Because if Candace puts the ball away and we win 2-0 and we move on, and people will delude themselves with that. A few weeks ago I would have deluded myself with that. But Pedro just falls on the wrong side of these narrow margins too often. So at best he's a very unlucky manager, and I don't want an unlucky manager being in charge of Rangers any more than I want an incompetent one. Unfortunately, results don't lie. And you can blame the players, you can blame Jack, you can blame Candace, you can blame whoever you want, but that's not how it works in football. Managers who perform, whose team perform badly, pay the price for that. And that's how it works in football. If your players do well, you are lauded and rewarded. If your players do very badly, you are fired. And it's happened to better managers than Pedro. It's happened to Mourinho at Chelsea as a recent example, that managers sometimes don't get or are unable to get a reaction out of players. He needed a reaction tonight, and he needed a result more than anything else. If he'd held on for 1-0, as I say, it would have been an unmemorable game. I don't think we would have been going to Tynecastle with particularly much more confidence than we're going now, to be honest. But at least we would have had the win and the clean sheet, and in the end we've got neither, and it's too often. Pedro's a lovely man, and he's charmed all of us, we have to say, because if any other Rangers manager had had the results that he's had, then we would have been, lighting the pitchforks, and we haven't. And I still feel kind of bad saying this about him, but he charmed us and he charmed the board to get the job. But results, unfortunately, can't be written off, and they can't be explained away, and they can't be sold to you as anything other than they are, and they're not acceptable and they're poor. And if the argument is, well, we can't afford to get rid of them, then the board seriously have questions to answer, because who were the people who signed off on such a high-risk appointment in what then would appear to be an unbreakable contract? That, to me, seems baffling. And people who are successful businessmen, they wouldn't do that in their other businesses, so why did they think it was appropriate to do it in a football business? At the end of the day, it's hard to avoid the conclusion that what we have here is a mate of a mate who sold himself really, really well and was appointed, and unfortunately 7 months into the job it appears to be falling apart, and it's falling apart with a better squad of players on paper. We forgave last season because it was Warburton's duds. These are his players, he chose them, he recruited them, and unfortunately, if he can't get the best out of them, and at the moment it's not even that he can't get the best out of them, he can't get acceptable out of them, I don't see how it continues. Rangers fans are not going to put up with this pish. They're just not going to do it. We're not patient. It's not something that we are famed for a reason. And tonight, the reaction at the end was very angry. The board they can try and ride it out, and they could get away with it for Saturday. Saturday's going to be a hell of a tough match now. I mean, Hearts will be licking their chops. Hearts are a poor side. You saw that last night, but they'll still fancy themselves to be able to beat us. And doesn't that say everything? And I didn't think we'd win the league this year, but I didn't think we'd be 8 points behind in October after a pretty generous run of fixtures. At the moment, you can't be confident of going into any match and thinking we will win it. And if that's the case after 7 months, after signing your own players, and if anything, they're getting worse, I can't make a case for him anymore. And I wish I could. I really, really, really wish I could. I just can't do it. And if the board feel they or are going to say they can't afford to sack him, then they need to find the money to be able to do so, and they need to be ruthless, because this isn't cutting it. It's just not good enough. And I'm just as same as everybody else, a baffled Rangers fan. I looked at that team tonight. I thought that they would have enough about them. Yet again, they got into a good position, and yet again, they weren't able to see it through. That's a failing of mentality, and unfortunately, the mentality is bred by the coach. The old cliche is lost the dressing room or they're not playing for him. Well, they're either really atrocious or they're not playing for him. He went nuclear on them this week with the "you're an embarrassment" thing. They didn't react, and that, to me, was the last throw of the dice. The manager threw it down a challenge to them and they couldn't respond. We can't sack the players, we can't change the players. We can change the manager and see if someone else can get a tune out of them, and he might not be able to. You're absolutely correct. Before anyone says to me, "Oh, but David, who could do better with that squad of players?" I don't know, but you would have the opportunity to see. Whereas with a manager who, let's face it, we know in our heart of hearts is a failure. I said to a friend tonight that had I been appointed a football manager, and Steve Clark, who obviously I wouldn't appoint Ibrox, but I'm just saying, if I was the Kilmarnock chairman and Steve Clark's CV landed on my desk and Pedro's CV landed on my desk, I'd be going, Qatar League? And they're not even the best team in Qatar. No, get to. Whereas this guy, oh yeah, it's an impressive track record. And I'm not saying I want Steve Clark as manager, incidentally, but I'm just saying by comparative, he didn't have a great CV, he spoke very well, and then we backed and gave him an opportunity. It's all right saying, well, we're only 8 points behind, only. Rangers shouldn't be 8 points behind in October. Come on, right? We're only. It's not only. And what does that trend say? Does that trend say that we're going to get better? Does it say that we're going to suddenly start winning? No, of course not. You can't in confidence say we're going to win this doubleheader with Aberdeen and we're going to go to Murrayfield and beat Hearts. We're going to go to Hibson and these teams will be licking their chops about it. They'll be desperate to play us. And we won't be desperate to play them. And that's a sad state of affairs. And unfortunately, at a football club, the manager carries a can. So, with regret, Pedro, in the Alan Sugar style, I don't think you've got much longer to go. And I feel very sorry about that because I really, really wanted you to do well. But it's not happening, my man. And unfortunately, the club is bigger than any one man. And it's time for a change, sadly to say, but it's time for a change. Okay, folks, my name's David Edgar. We'll have a pod with you this Thursday, and I will speak to you again with the flagship show on Monday. Thank you. Bye.